Hey everyone, happy Friday. We are now in the final Fortune Friday for 2021, for me, anyways. Welcome to all of you who are new and those of you who are returning. I am so glad that you're here. I have a very special guest today. We have Christiana Gaudet, and we are going to talk about conferences. So,
Yes.
hey, Christiana, nice to have you.
Jenna, thank you so much for having me here. It is so great to see you.
It's awesome. It's awesome to have you. I know you're so busy. You have a conference coming up in like a month and a half, if even that. And so thank you for the time. Yes. That's
Yes.
Staarcon. Yes. And I just like, it'd be a great thing to talk about conferences and why they're important and
Right.
why should someone attend one? Because I don't know about you, but my first conferences started really everything and cemented my connections with the community. And I know that you've been doing conferences for quite a while, right?
Sure. The first conference I ever went to was back when the American Tarot Association was doing conferences. And so it was a regional conference in Albany, New York, in probably 1997, something like that. And I was invited to speak. I'd never been to a conference before, and I was speaking, and had probably never done a presentation to a group that large before. So it was a thing. And, it was the most wonderful thing from start to finish. And one of the people that impressed me the most at that conference was Diane Wilkes. And she's speaking at Staarcon 2022. So that's like a full circle thing I'm really excited about. But the one sort of quintessential moment at that conference was, I don't even know what the topic was, but I'm in a particular class and we're sitting in a circle. Our chairs are all in a circle. And I looked around and I realized for the first time in my life, I was in a space with people who really felt familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which was an interesting thing because I'd been like to Christian summer camp, which I loved, but always felt a little weird about. I traveled with all the Deadheads from Grateful Dead show to Grateful Dead show, which was the most fun, but I always knew I wasn't quite part of that population. It was the very first time in my life I felt part of, like, 100% in. I am 100% in. And that's a good feeling.
It is. I had the same experience really at my first reader studio and it was really overwhelming to like come in and be like, these are my people. And you feel it, like just the energy. You're like, oh yeah, this is it. Like this is connection. And I remember getting overwhelmed and actually crying a little bit because it was just like I have been looking for my people probably my whole life, like just like that deep soul, like we're all kind of working on the same kind of vibe, and it was wonderful to feel that in a visceral way. So okay, so you went to the American Tarot Associations in Albany.
Yeah.
Do you know the history of tarot conferences? Do you know, like,
So
when
I
they?
want to say those were the first. And at that conference, in fact, I met Wald and Ruth Ann, and they weren't even the Amberstones yet. They had not gotten married. And very quickly thereafter, within the next year or two, they had their wedding, which was the Tarot Festival, which was the birth of Reader Studio. So then there were, right around the same time, so we're talking late 90s, there were the World Tarot Conference, and I believe it was the second World Tarot Conference that had to be canceled because of 9/11. And
Oh, wow.
9/11 put the kibosh on tarot conferences for quite some time. And so then there was Bats that came up in San Francisco that eventually became Newt's. And the last time I saw you in person, it was at Newt's.
Mhm.
And then there were like ones that popped up here and there. And I'm just talking about the United States. I mean, obviously there's the UK Tarot Conference. There's one in Canada. I mean, they're everywhere, really. But like I went to Watts, which was a one-time thing.
Hmm.
in Wisconsin. It was the Wisconsin Area Tri-State Tarot Symposium, uh, which was um, which was held by Julie Kusha Watts. And
Oh,
that
I didn't
was,
know that. Huh.
yeah, one opportunity, and I got to be there. And that I met Farrell Humphrey there. Like, it's always, the classes are amazing and you learn so much in the classes. But I have to say that it's the meals and in the bar and all of that, and that's why I have to say, that's why, because people are like, why don't you just do the online portion on Facebook or on YouTube? And the reason is because on an events management platform like Excel Events, the one we use, we have lounges and the bar and places where people can meet, because that's really the stuff in my mind. And now you are doing next summer. Can we announce this yet? Is it announced?
We can announce it. I was gonna wait till it was in the catalog, but yeah, we can if you
Yeah,
want.
'cause you're doing what? Okay, here's the other piece. Okay,
Okay.
going back to 1990. Okay, so imagine this. I'm pregnant with my son, and someone hands me this paper catalog of this place called Omega. Now, I'm in Connecticut, but I'd never heard of Omega, even though it's in New York.
Mhm.
And I see that Mary Greer is going to be doing a conference at Omega. And I'm like, oh man, I'd love to go to this, but I'm pregnant. Every dollar, every energy, everything I have is going toward, like, the fact I'm about to have a baby. And I'm like, one day I'm going to meet Mary Greer, and one day I'm going to be able to go to this conference. Now, over this long period of time, I end up with a tarot mentee, a good friend of mine. I gave her her first gig. She's now been a professional reader for 20 years. You may know her. Her name's Marcy Courier. She
Mhm.
ended up working at Omega for like many, many years. And so she's always talking about Omega and all this. Still never go, still never go. Last year, I got to go and present at Mary and Rachel's annual conference. And that's a whole different tarot conference, unlike any. Beautiful, fabulous, but different. And next year you get to do that.
Yes, I do. I do. I'm really excited. I just sent off the contract, and I'm just thinking about what I want to do. I'm really excited. I was very honored
It is
to
an
have
honor.
that invitation. Very
It's
honored.
an honor.
Yeah.
So Marion Newberry is here, who I met at Omega, and she says, "I love Marcy." Can I tell a Marcy Courier origin story?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I have an office at this point in Niantic, Connecticut. This pretty young blonde girl comes in for a reading. I give her a reading. Don't think much about it. The next day, I come to my office, and a scribbled note has come under my door. She wants to take my class. I had a class coming up. Okay, fine, call her up, sign her up for the class. And she starts showing up at every single class I do, at every single meeting. And she is good. She is really good. She's one of those students where you're like, oh, that person has the juice. And
Mhm.
we sort of become friends ish. And so I had these gigs where during graduation season, I would be part of the all night graduation party where they take the high school seniors, lock them somewhere, and they entertain them all night so they don't drink and drive. And of course, one of the fun entertainments is tarot readings, which means your gig starts at 2 a.m. in the morning and you work from 2 a.m. in the morning till 5 a.m. in the morning.
Ooh.
And so I reach out to Marcy and I say, Marcy, you're ready for your first tarot gig. You're ready to work professionally. She'd already told me this is what she wants. And I said, but here's the catch. I'll be picking you up at 1 a.m. to do this job. Do you want it? And she took it. And that's how Marcy got her career.
That's so funny. I was asked to do a few of those, but I was like, oh man, I don't like. I'm a girl who needs her sleep. I'm a more like I was like, I don't know, but I was always curious how those went. Like
Well,
what is going on at 4 a.m.
graduating seniors, and I don't know if you've done proms. It's very much like prom, only at a different time, and the
Yeah.
clothing is different. But I love that age group.
Yeah.
It's, I love looking at, just they've got their whole lives in front of them. What is it going to look like? It's so much fun.
It's so awesome. Oh, that's so sweet. I love these origin stories. Yeah, Marcy was great. I had her come and do something for a class in Philly a few years ago, and she was wonderful. Everyone
She's
loved
fun,
her.
right?
Yeah, she's really good. She's really good.
So, and this is the thing, is like, we are this whole community of people literally all over the world. And it is the conferences where we typically meet and make these connections, and then are able to kind of work together and do things together. And that's how it is. And I'm so excited that you're coming to Staarcon.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I'm really excited. It's been too long of seeing people and hanging out with
Yes.
people. You know what I love about conferences and about the tarot community in general is it's at conferences you can I remember the first conference was, the Tarot Professionals Conference in Dallas. That was my
Mhm,
first, and that was back in, do I want to say 2012, 2013, something like that?
mhm, mhm,
Early days.
mhm.
And I remember going, and people were just randomly piling into that hotel like van to go to dinner, and all of a sudden I found myself sitting next to Mary Greer, and end up having dinner with her, just on the on the inside I'm going ah! But on the outside I'm like, cool, yeah, totally. Hey, what's up, Mary? How's it going? But that's the cool thing about the tarot community is that you can so easily connect with your heroes or the people that have inspired you, and they're all friendly. Like no one's gonna be like, oh, there's none of that air. Everyone wants everyone else to succeed. Everyone wants everyone else to love tarot as much as they love. So I mean, I'm just also saying this for those of you that are listening in. If you haven't done it and then you're nervous or shy or maybe even intimidated, please don't be. Like really. Like you're gonna find yourself sitting next to uh some people and getting to know them
Mhm.
on just a whole new level in ways that I don't think many other conferences do outside of our community. Like usually there's more gatekeeping to like the big people,
Right,
so
right. Yeah,
here
yeah,
you
we
can.
don't do, in fact,
Mhm.
I'm often a headliner at Florida Pagan Gathering, which is
Uh-huh.
a lot of fun. It's different. It's a camping experience, so that's different than a luxury hotel. But there is, like the headliners eat here and everybody else eats here, and there is that gatekeeping. And we don't do that at tarot conferences. I mean, if a presenter doesn't want to socialize, they don't have to. But
Mhm.
most of us are there to meet people. Like it really, we want to meet people. And I've seen so many people at these conferences there with their very first tarot deck, like just opening up their
Oh,
tarot deck. Like that's their first tarot experience. And
yeah.
that's fine. That's
Those
fine.
are brave souls. I would have thought to be like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna just unwrap this and open this for the first time, and I'm at this tarot conference. Yeah, like there's a lot of them, and they're welcome too, no matter what your level is. So it's not like, oh, you have to be at a certain whatever to go. It's for anyone, and I think you've been so like with Staarcon coming up, and then the one that you did last year, you've been
Mhm.
so mindful of all the different kinds of experience levels, and also where people want to take their practice, that
Mhm.
nobody feels left out, and that's hard to pull off. But there's never like, oh, this is for these kinds of people and I don't understand. Like everyone is welcome, which is another reason why I love it so much.
I'm glad. Thank you. And we're going to do a fun thing for now. Okay, so here's the thing. In doing the hybrid experience, I've really tried, like, I want the hybrid people, the people who are online and the people who are in person, to have essentially the same experience, to
Hmm.
the point that I'll have my laptop at the bar so people can come to the bar with us. And it's actually in an app, so we can all have people in our phone at the bar with us. Um,
I'd be like, you want to buy me a drink? Venmo me. No, just kidding.
Oh my gosh, Marcy Courier just got here. Marcy,
Oh, hey, Marcy.
were you here when I told your origin story? I
We
told
were
Marcy
talking
Courier
about you.
origin story. That's so awesome. I'm glad you're here, Marcy. We love you. Anyway, um, we are doing one thing that is going to make the people, and I'm so sorry to all the people who are coming in online. We love you, but we're going to do one thing that is going to make those people jealous, and that's on you.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about the tarot pool party?
Oh yeah, the tarot pool party. Well, I don't want to say too much because
Okay, fair, fair, fair.
it's a very special thing that you must come. But yes, it is. There's going to be a tarot pool party, which will include an oracular message that you can only receive if you actually get into the pool. So if you want that reading, I was thinking about like, oh, should I call it the Queen of Cups Grotto or something like that? Like I've been like just thinking about all these fun things. I hope the weather is like
So,
um
this is what I've thought about this is there's a couple of times we could do it, and
mhm.
I've just put it in the program as watch for it, and we'll choose it at the time where the weather is going to be most favorable.
Perfection, perfection. Yay. Yeah. The only thing I need to get on is with the shipping stuff. Like I'm like, ooh, I need to get on something so I can get some things in time, which it will all be revealed when you come.
So excited.
But yes, it's going to be very fun. And it took me a long time. I was like, what should I do at the pool? I wanted to do something at the pool party. And then I was like, I got to download. And I'm like,
We're very excited, and you will also be doing a more traditional presentation inside in an actual room with chairs and all of that. You're doing that too, so we're
yes.
very grateful that you're going to be there.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I mean, it's not like you have to twist my arm to go to Florida in January. Like, ow, oh, and yes, I must. But yeah, so it's gonna be great. And yeah, it's like you said, it's a fabulous hotel. They've got that great bar, they've got all that outdoor seating, they got the pool. And it's so nice because you can also there's a Target I think you can walk to if you want to grab stuff for the room, right? Isn't that
Um,
right?
it's a Publix. There's a Publix
Oh,
that you can
Publix.
walk to.
Hmm.
There's a CVS you can walk to. There's restaurants, and there's the hotel shuttle is so funny because it doesn't go to the airport. You're going to have to. The airport is 10 minutes away, so you're going to have to Uber or Lyft from the airport. But once you're at the hotel shuttle will take you 3 miles anywhere, which is like a bunch of fabulous restaurants. Now we do have a Staarcon meal plan, so we hope you at least join us for the banquet Saturday evening. And we probably will want to do some organized, everyone go out for dinner Sunday evening, I would think, because that will be fun. Um,
Marion is saying that she's going to send me an inflatable unicorn. Oh my God, yes.
oh, Marion.
There's so much I can do with that. So you all better bring your bathing suits because it will require a dip in the pool. Um, yeah, that's gonna be hilarious. I just am imagining all these people in the pool. Just I can't wait. I hope it'll be fun. And I get to say, probably fairly definitively, that I will be the first tarot divination pool activity I think ever done. So
I think this is true. And honestly, I think, you know what? There is a way that I think we can, how do I want to put this, informally at least show it. We won't record it. There will be no recording of this. But I think we can show it to the people who are coming in online, so at least they can see it if they happen to be there live. So we'll work it out. There are technological possibilities.
Oh my God, yeah, I was like,
Because
huh.
I don't think it's, we are doing so many things at Staarcon that have never been done before, and I'm sure that a tarot pool divination is one of them. A multi-track hybrid has never been done before.
That's
A
true.
30-day afterglow has never been done before. We did it last year, but we didn't call it the afterglow, and we didn't really take advantage of it the way we're going to this time. because we
Oh
didn't
yeah.
really get what it was. So, oh, right, Marion, online attendees are going to get in the tub from home.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yes. Do it. Do it. Yes.
And
That's so
the
good.
other thing that we're doing at Staarcon that most conferences don't do is we have different ticket levels. And one of the ticket levels, of course, is for the pre-conference, which is a full day with me. If you're crazy enough to want to do that, you can. But we also have a ticket level that is kind of a low budget ticket level. It's $50. It's the public track, and it gives you 12 classes. You don't get to choose your classes, but you get those 12 classes, and you get access to the vendors and access to, being in the conference vibe. So that's an innovator as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of choice. A lot of choice.
A
Like
lot of
wherever
choice.
feels accurate or like in alignment with what you've got going on. I think this is going to be challenging. I don't think I've ever taught a class that was in person and hybrid. So I need
Oh,
to think about that.
yes. And I've been doing that for more than a year now because I've been doing my room and Zoom.
So you've
Well,
had people
actually,
in person and Zoom?
okay, no, actually, okay. I just started that I lied. I've been doing it for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Post-vaccination, I didn't do anything until
Mm-hmm.
vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
Post-vaccination, I opened up the conference room again, and I got a meeting owl, which we named Owlister Owly. And so we do classes where we have people in person and online.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you will make it easy for you because you will have a moderator who will feed you questions from the online people.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you watch your moderator as well as the other people,
Mm-hmm.
it should be not too horrifying.
Can there the people that are online, is there like a breakout? Can you put them in groups online? Like can you partner them up like if you want to do partner work or anything like that?
I believe that you can. Yes, I will make sure, but you should. Yes, because the Excel events does let people do chats. You can ask people to get together in private chat. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
if I want to get people partnered up in person online, we can do that.
Yes, you can.
Great. Oh, good. Yay. They thought of everything. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. What else should we tell people to convince them
Well,
that the tarot conference is worth their time?
let me tell you a couple of other things that came out of tarot conferences for me, just general conferences over time. One was this: my very first book, Fortune Stellar, would not have been written if I had not gone to a conference and met a person who hooked me up with a person who said, you have to write this book. Would
Mm-hmm.
not have happened. And at another conference, I met a person who worked did some developmental editing work for me on this book. So wherever you want to go, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be professional. It can be, for a lot of people. Oh, and this is something I want to talk to you about, Jenna, too,
Okay.
for our community.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you and I are like we're the professionals. We're in there and just, doing what we got to do and trying to help other people be professionals. But there are, and we can speak to them in
Mm-hmm.
terms of you need a conference because it will help you with your professional development.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
for the people who really are not interested in being professionals, but they are proficient readers, and tarot is part of their spiritual path, and tarot informs them, and it's part of their community. And a lot of them are good at reading. They could be professionals if they wanted to be. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a name for those people. Like hobbyist. The only word I can think of is hobbyist, and that's not fair
Yeah.
because, or amateur, also not fair.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
in our community a word to describe these practitioners who
Mm-hmm.
are every bit as skilled and talented as we are. They
Mm-hmm.
just do something with it that doesn't involve being professional. What do we call these people?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that.
Think about that. We need a name for them. So Peggy Lou says that the Gardens Mall is very fancy nearby Staarcon. Yes, my daughter works at the Gardens Mall. The Gardens Mall is it's a brand mall essentially. Like
Mm.
it's got the Coach store. It's got the, like I don't even shop these brands, so I don't even know. Lily Pulitzer has her store there. It's very. But it's also true that like the Macy's there is the best Macy's ever.
Mhm.
So it's fun. But my daughter has worked there since she got to Florida, really, at that mall.
Yeah, Marcy is saying that we were talking about that earlier, that when you show up, you're like, oh my God, these are my people. And I know these
Right.
are my people. And
Right.
I know that that's a real visceral experience because I've hung out with like groups of astrologers and I'm like, oh, these aren't my people. Like I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love them, but like they're different. I don't know how to, I'm just like, oh, this is fascinating. But it's like, it's not like, wow, for me it's just tarot.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I'm guilty as charged. This is my thing. So um you're right. I want to piggyback on what you were saying around like meeting people for books and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, like I also have a book coming out
Mm-hmm.
with Llewellyn next year. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be called Will You Give Me a Reading?
Mm-hmm.
And that was facilitated partially because I got to know Barbara Moore from all the conferences. She got to know
Exactly.
me, I got to know her. So when I was like, hey, I've got this idea, it wasn't like this cold ask, like, hi, you don't know me.
Right.
And she knows that I've been a reader, that I care, that I love, like, it's not that I'm just coming out of nowhere. And so as much as we love online like this and social media and all that stuff, a conference is really still that place to rub elbows with people and get to know people, and
Mhm.
it feels a lot less intimidating. And then you have these
Mhm.
connections.
Absolutely. And I see what got Peggy to talk about the Gardens Mall was Marion K. Taro asking about shopping opportunities. Now, the big shopping opportunities are the vendors, and all of our in-person vendors will also have booths online on
Oh,
Excelivate,
cool.
and we will also have some online only vendors. Now, the online exhibition hall is open not only through the conference, but for the 30-day afterglow. In-person vendors include Ciro Marchetti, Lisa Hunt, Soultopia, Jamar Enlightenment Center, and a lot of indie deck designers will be there selling their decks and selling their products. So we have a pretty good internal shopping experience, whether you are with us in person or online. Shopping. Yes, indeed. And we have some amazing sponsors. Soultopia, that I just mentioned, is a sponsor. US Games, Llewellyn, Schiffer, Weiser, just an amazing number of sponsors. And most of them will be giving us some digital swag.
Yum.
Oh,
Oh,
Watermancer.
isn't Lisa doing something on like soul portraiture or something like that? Isn't there
Lisa
something?
is doing this thing.
That's so cool.
Lisa does this thing where she's going to be there with an easel and her whatever her tools are, and people will shout out keywords, and she right in front of us makes a piece of art. And the thing about having Lisa Hunt is Lisa doesn't go to conferences. Like, you're not going to see her. A lot of the people here you might be able to see at some other conference at some other time. That's a fact. A lot of us kind of do the conference circuit, and that's well and good. Lisa Hunt, you won't see her anywhere else. She is exclusive to us. Not that we've signed a contract. She just doesn't go to conferences.
Yeah, she was the second deck I ever bought in the 90s.
Oh,
She was
which
my
one?
second deck. Oh gosh, put me on the spot. The first one she did.
Was it the Celtic Dragon?
No, not the
No,
Celtic Dragon.
Shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter. Yes, thank you.
Shapeshifter.
I'm like so bad with names, please everyone. I'm like, the name,
So
I see it. I can't say it. Yeah, that's the first one I got.
will the online, oh, Llewellyn will be an online vendor too. Will the
Mhm.
online vendors be shipping internationally? That will be vendor to vendor, but I would assume that most of them will.
Mhm,
I will
mhm.
assume. I would assume, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's something else too. Like if you know who's coming, like my new thing now is if I know who's coming and I have a book that they've written or something, guess what comes with me? Because I want them to autograph the book I have. So actually, my very sweet husband bought me a first edition, brand new, not cheap, out of print Forest of Souls with Rachel Pollack,
Mm.
and she's not going to, I think she's not coming, right?
I,
She's going to be
she is
online.
presenting, but she'll be presenting online, I
Yeah.
believe.
But guess what's coming with me to Omega? And I'm going to be like,
Yeah, there you go.
sign me,
So,
sign me.
so I made like a huge mistake that way. Okay. When I did Omega, because I do a tarot tour in Connecticut right next to New York. So I hooked it all up. So flew into Connecticut, did Omega, flew into Connecticut, went to the place where I stay, the yoga studio I live at when I'm in Connecticut, dropped half my stuff, repacked for Omega, went off to Omega the next day. I had especially brought with me Shaheen Miro's deck because
Oh.
he was presenting Uncommon
Mhm.
Tarot for him to sign. Did I bring, so I it made it to Connecticut, did not make it to New York
Why is that?
because I forgot it in
Oh,
Connecticut.
I thought maybe like you gave it to someone. You're like, oh man. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so funny. Oh, and you know, the other thing I love about conferences too is you and I, we're so busy, right? Like I feel like I try as I want. I never get enough just expansive white space to let the creativity come. So when I'm at a conference and I'm not always like in production mode and I can listen and absorb, that keys off lots of ideas. So I find I come back from a conference with a lot of new learnings, but also things I was like, oh my God, I could do this, or oh, I have an idea. That just being steeped in the energy like really is a really creative and fertile
It
time for me.
is.
You know, so I always come back with those with like pages and pages and pages of ideas to take with me. And I really value that. I don't think there's anything else that quite does that for me like a conference does.
No, it is so inspiring. It is so, and collaborations and all kinds of stuff. Marion Newberry says, hearing a room of 100 readers pick up their decks and shuffle for the first time is a sound feeling I will never forget. Yeah. You know what? You know, the other sound I love is when you break people into groups and they're all reading for each other and there's just that buzz of reading and energy. I love that sound too. That's
It's
also,
wonderful. It's
yeah.
wonderful. I can't wait to come. I am so excited. People I haven't seen in a while know Jamie Elford is coming in person.
Jamie
And I
Alford
was
will be
like,
there in
hey.
person. Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
Arwen Lynch, I think, is coming in
Yes, she
person
is.
too.
Yes, she is. Absolutely. Mark Horn is going to be
Oh,
there.
yes.
I'm
Yay.
totally excited to see him. And I mean, just so many people. Now, Marion Taro, who's here, is presenting, but I don't think they're going to let her fly. So she will be with us in 2023. Um, and, uh, and so what we're really going to have to do, Jenny is here. I think Jenny's going to be with us in person. Absolutely. So what we're going to have to do is really be mindful of the fact that the conference is beyond the center that we're in. And I'm
Mhm,
really hoping the app works well. They're
mhm.
just unveiling the app right now. Because I think the idea of like carrying my phone around and communicating with the people there while I'm communicating with the people here is going to be just too much fun. Jenny, yeah, you're flying in. And so I'm so excited to meet you in person. Cannot wait.
I
And
feel like I want like a little conference holder. You know, I usually have the conference like
Mhm.
name tag. I want a holder that I can put my phone in so it can just like be like this and then it could just like hang out with me in the app. I don't know how to do that, but that
Oh,
would describe
oh,
the
I
experience.
charge you with the responsibility of inventing this because you know Hybrid is the way of the future.
Yeah.
Staarcon is the first one to do multi-tracked with an events management platform.
Mhm. Mhm.
But UK Tarot Conference did hybrid, one track and on YouTube, and that was fabulous. So we're really innovating something, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure over the next few years, a lot of conferences will be doing this because it's the way. When the evil pandemic first started, we were all like, well, when COVID's over, COVID's over, COVID's over. COVID's never going to be over. It's, I mean, there's all, we are now in a society where it's always going to be weird. And so I think hybrid is always going to be the way. So we may be the first, but I think it's always going to be this way. So if you can invent ways that bring the connection between the online people and the in-person people, I think that's going to be amazing. So whatever you can invent, we
Well,
want
you know,
the best and
I'm
we
so
want
busy working on the pool party thing. I
to.
don't know. No, yeah, I don't know. Like you're right. And I think as with climate change and stuff, and people are being mindful about flying and all of that, like that, this, that having that option, I think is something that's not going to go away for sure.
No, no,
Um,
and the technology is good. I mean, it
yeah.
really, it's good.
And I remember last year, like when we did StarCon last year, there was like people going, I didn't think this would feel like a conference, but it actually does feel like a conference. And it
Yeah,
did.
and it did.
Because you had those breakout rooms. You're like, oh, I can go chill over here and I'm just going to go ha ha with these people. And then, oh, okay. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to talk to these people. It did feel very similar.
It
It
did.
really did.
It did. It
Um,
absolutely
you
did.
know, so you just have to buy your own drinks.
You have to buy your own drinks.
You can't.
And wardrobing was different,
Yeah.
like, most of us like really think about what you're going to wear to the conference, and even
Mhm.
more now because of like pictures on social media. So whatever you wear on to the conference is like immortalized forever. And you
Mhm.
can bring your fun clothes and your tarot related gear. So you didn't have that so much in the online, although there were a couple of people last year that had these really fun T-shirts that they had bought just for the conference.
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself. I
Yeah.
know. I told Fred. Fred has a T-shirt at Newt's, and I reached out to him.
Fred
I was like, "Are you
West,
gonna do that?" Yeah, and
he's
he had a
coming.
He's coming. Yeah, and I was like, "Do you still have this T-shirt?" Because at Newt's he brought it and it said, "My deck is bigger than your deck."
That's
Ah.
great.
I was like, I love that T-shirt. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, okay, I think we've really talked through so much. I hope we've convinced you that are watching that you've got to come, whether it's online or in person. You've got to come. What would you say would be like some words of advice for someone who's coming to a conference for the first time?
Marcy says, count me in for 2023. Excellent, excellent. So coming to a conference, well, and coming to this conference for the first time, you know, there are two ways to do a conference. One is a single track. Everyone takes the same class because there's only one class in each time slot. The other is multiple track. You choose for each time slot. And I hear complaints about both. If
Mhm,
it's the single track, it's, well, what if I don't want that class? There's nothing else to do. If
mhm.
it's multiple track, I can't choose. I want to go to them all. For Staarcon, remember that the classes are recorded. So go to the one you want to go to live, and you'll have, and if you're so tired that you just can't take another class today, go chill by the pool because you can watch the recording. So that's one. Another, and same thing with like oh my gosh, I have to remember this, remember this, remember this. You're not going to remember everything. You can take as many notes as you want. You're not going to remember everything. Go back to the recording. So whether you're online or in person, the recordings are going to be there for you for 30 days. So that's important, number one. Number two, don't be afraid. I think I was like super nervous going to my first one. Don't be afraid. And Marcy says that would be my advice to a first timer: energy management, because it's a lot, and it's a lot. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of this, and for a lot of us, it won't be my first time in a big place since coming out of pandemic mode, but for some people, it's going to be their first time with a bunch of people in a long time. And so do your energy management, and it's okay at any point to go take a quiet corner. And that's true whether you're online and just go into the other room of your house, or whether you're in person and go sit by the pool, or there's a lot of fun nooks and crannies in this hotel where you can relax, or just go to your room.
Yeah, and there's also jacuzzi. It's not just pool, so you can do cool water, warm water.
Yeah.
There's that jacuzzi situation.
Right? That situation does exist. Yes.
I will be in a lot of water. I promise myself. I need to laminate. I need to laminate a tarot deck.
Right, or get that plastic tarot deck. There is one.
Oh, that's true.
There is one.
Yeah. So you can do readings while you're chilling in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
I think you made such a good point around those of us, I know that I've had to really kind of have this reentry thing with, and a little bit of social anxiety, I've definitely felt it. And I'm someone who's more extroverted. So for our more sensitive people, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
We will be here when you come back. Don't push yourself. Take care of yourself first and foremost.
And even if you're not a drinker, spend some time at the bar. Seriously. I am a drinker, but as the conference owner, I am not going to be getting sloshed at the bar, just so you know.
Oh, not this. Oh, okay, fine.
But libations and divinations, 9:15, Friday night, Saturday night, whether you're online or in person, join us. Join us, because it's going to be fun. Marcy, one of my favorite Christiana quotes: your tarot friends are your best friends. And accurate. I'll tell you what, yes, that's a quote, but I stole it. I stole that quote from a person who came to a tarot meetup, and she walked in a little late, and she said, your tarot friends are your best friends. You want to know why? Because I can tell y'all I had a tower day, and you're going to know exactly what I mean. Right? We speak the same language. And that's what this is. We are a community of people who speak the same language. And that's an amazing thing. So whether you can join us in person or online, join us. And if you are joining us in person, still download the app and still interact online, because there's good stuff there for you too.
I have two other pointers for those the first one's for those who are coming. If you're going to come, I don't know, if you're a coffee drinker like me, bring your own tumbler, bring your own coffee thing from breakfast. Because for me, those little cups, not for this girl. I gotta fill it up, and I need to have that. So I always pack one of those, and that is my go-to situation, or water. Second thing I love about conferences is that you can dress up and let your freak flag fly, however you need that to be. And if you're online, well, where's your crown? Where's your hat? Where's your boa? You can still join the fun.
Yes.
I'm always looking for reasons to dress up. Moderately acceptable reasons, I will oh yeah, no, you should. So you've got that. And yeah, so this is a time just to just have fun and not feel like you're in the one place where you're not going to be judged. And for so many of us as tarot readers, we've long had that, what are people going to think, or, if I'm reading, or what's my mom going to say, or whatever. But this is the place where you don't, that is just out the window, and you don't even have to think about that at all. We're beginning at, you are accepted, you're wanted, you're valued, and come read with us, you know? It's always been true. That's why I love conferences. It's the one place where you're like, I grok you, you grok me, and no one is judging me. No one is going, oh, she can tell the future or whatever, like everyone gets it. And we all get the magic because we all see it right in front of our own eyes. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. 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 Yes. Yeah.
So Marion, she takes her own tea bags.
I do the same.
Smart.
I do the same. Absolutely.
So yeah. What else I'm thinking about? Like, oh, and you know what? Because there's vending usually, maybe not bring all the decks from home because you're gonna have to pack a bunch of decks back out if you're coming in person.
Right. And I know that conferences are not cheap, but if it's in the budget, plan to do some shopping because there's good shopping to do. There it really is. And there it is. And if you're a person who wants to learn a foreign language, you might go to another country and learn by immersion. This is very much going to tarot and divination country and learning by immersion. You will learn a lot just by being there. Marcy says, leave room in your suitcase. Yes, seriously.
Or bring like one of those bags, those like wax paper bags that you can collapse, but then can expand into another suitcase that you can check. Yeah, I agree. And for many people, there's they don't have confidence to read, like they're worried. And then they never do it, but then they don't get, there's like a next level that reading for others really kind of gets you. So at a conference, you can find plenty of people who are going to be so kind. You won't have to worry, like they get it. So you're really kind of getting your chops in like the kindest and most accepting and loving possible place. And the one thing I love about tarot readers too is it's fairly non-dogmatic. Like if you're like, well, I know that, the hangman means this, but I'm really kind of picking this up. We're going to be like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that works. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling that. So it's not like how accurate, no one's going to test you on how accurate you are, that you know exactly what the reversals are in that position. We just, tarot just doesn't have those like, well, actually people, we just don't really like, that maybe some other places were like, well, actually, but not tarot people. I have never seen that.
So I have to say, I am a well, actually person on one particular tarot topic.
Oh, I think I know what this one is. All right. Yes.
Tarot history.
True. Yes.
I am that person.
Agreed. No, I just meant like the reading itself, like your interpretation, right, is like secret to you. And of course there are different camps between, just whatever comes into is what comes. And people go, I really believe in the book stuff, but it's fluid. It's not so like, and I like that personally. She's got a couple watches.
Well, and the thing is though, I have two, but not generally ones who go to tarot conferences. Mm-hmm. Most of the well actuallys that I've met have been like, they'll make it to a meetup. Oh, can I tell you a well actually story?
Yes, you can.
This is a repeat story for somebody here because I know I remember telling this story recently. So I don't know if it was in an interview or in a live I did on YouTube. So for someone, it's going to be a repeat, and I really apologize. But I used to do this monthly tarot thing, free class, monthly tarot community thing in the community I lived in. So like first Tuesday of the month, 7:00, come to the community room. We all do tarot together. Fine. And so one of these Tuesdays, a woman comes in, never seen her before. She has a tarot deck, which she said she'd had for like 20 years. I'm like, okay, great, welcome. And in the beginning, we're talking a little, and I mentioned that I'm a professional reader, and she starts reading me the riot act that I should not be reading professionally. It is bad and wrong to take
Oh,
money for
yeah.
readings. And I sort of make some joke about, well, I mean, I managed to get my kids through college on it. And she's like, well, you should have worked at McDonald's. And I mean, like, she was really rude. And the rest of the room, because the rest of the room knows me pretty well, and they're all watching me to see what I was going to do. And I was like, okay, we'll agree to disagree and we move on. And so for the first exercise, I ask everyone to separate out their major and minor arcana. And everyone in the room is separating out their cards. This woman, who's had her deck for 20 years, does not know what the major and minor arcana are. She knows for sure that it's a sin for me to read professionally, but cannot tell a major arcana card from a minor arcana card. She was a well, actually.
Wow. I had a well actually recently,
Did you
but it
really?
wasn't a tarot reader. I have this really groovy little local bar near me that it's just wonderful. And I will go there, and the bartenders, I'll read for them, and they know me and all that. So one of the bartenders is his birthday, and on the fly, I was like, oh, I'll give you a reading. And I didn't have my deck, so they just had a playing card deck, right? So I was like, cool. So I'm shuffling it, and some dude on the bar is like, well, you need a tarot deck, not a playing card deck. And I was like, well, you can use these. And then he started to school me on it. He well actually me. And I said, oh, would you like to give the reading? Please come over. I would love for you, since you know so much, I would love to watch you give my friend a reading here with these playing cards deck. And then he was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you Wiccans. And I was like, oh, so all tarot readers are Wiccans now. I was like, please stop, good sir. Please stop. You are not doing yourselves any favors. But yeah, it tends to be, I'll admit, a certain gender that I've run into that have well actually me over the years.
Are they Are they so like mansplaining tarot?
They may be of the Y chromosomal background, I must admit, but it's so rare though. I don't think I've ever had that at a conference. I've never ever been made to feel like I didn't belong, or that I didn't know, or that I should just. I just don't get
No.
that airs,
No.
like, oh, that's what you think. Like, I haven't yet to ever encounter that. It's always in other realms
In
where that.
other realms, yes. At a conference, no. Mary Newberry, favorite Christiana quote: "If I say Seven of Swords and you can't picture it, you shouldn't be reading professionally."
Marcy,
Yeah, I'll stand by that.
Marcy says she's a recovering. Well, actually,
I'm a recovering well, actually, now that I think about it, Marcy.
That just gave me a really fun, like, conference idea, like a conga line of readers where someone says something and then you pull another card, and then you have to start it with, well, actually, and then you like flip it in some way. Just have that idea. Gemini time. So
We should do this in the bar one of the nights. We should do a well actually game.
yeah. Well, we'll just like lead into, well, actually, what it really says is blah, 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 blah. That's really hilarious, and we should. That's fun. That'll be fun. Marcy, we have to do this. This must happen. This must exist in the world.
The well actually game.
Oh my goodness, this has been so fun hanging out with you for the hour. Thank you so much. I know
Gosh.
you're so busy
Oh,
for the holidays.
yeah. Yep. For whatever reason, this particular year, because everything is whacked, the Christmas season has been busier for me than the Halloween season was.
True. Me too.
You too. So weird. So weird.
Yep.
Oh, here we go from Christina. I think a well actually little white book would be fun to imagine. Well, actually, the tower really is bad.
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, yeah. I think there's something really fun to do with that. I'm going to think about it.
Think about that. While you're thinking about the pool party and your presentation and everything else you're
Oh
doing for
God.
Staarcon.
Oh man. And then of course, I mean, hitting January, which is for us, I've already
January.
got the first 3 weeks booked almost of January for me.
Yeah.
Like it's like, brrr, like everyone's like, all right, come on, 22. Is this what is like, is this gonna shift? So yeah, it's gonna be an action-packed year. But yeah, oh my goodness. Well, is there anything else that you could think of that people may want to know or some advice before we start wrapping things up here in our chat?
Just a real shout out to, I mean, this is definitely a volunteer run conference. I mean, at this point, because it's so new, John and I are volunteers too, right? Um, and the people have come together, the list of presenters, the vast majority of them reached out to me. It's really been something that just came together. I did not sort of curate the presenters. They were just the people who said, yes, I can, yes, I will. And over the next few years, my job will be to more carefully curate, which is not to say that they're not all awesome. They're all awesome. But in terms of trying to get an even wider range of perspective, wider range of personality, whatever, I will be curating that. So I'm going to be very interested to hear from you. And you're going to love the presenters we have. We have awesome presenters. Jenna's that way. Jenna's going to be there. But who would you like to see at Staarcon 2023? I am putting that bad boy together now.
Yeah, Marion Kay said, are we daring to mention this during Mercury retrograde?
Yes. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because I did some real soul searching on that. This is an annual conference, and I decided to borrow a page from Reader Studio on this, that barring any weird thing happening, it's going to be this weekend in January every freaking year, because we avoid, in election years, we avoid election crap here in the US. We avoid Super Bowl. It avoids, like, I didn't want to do it on Martin Luther King weekend, even though that extra day off would be nice, but that weekend is for something special, not for tarot. And so every few years, Mercury will be in retrograde for Staarcon. That's a damn fact. And Reader Studio has done it, and we're going to do it. Yes, that's what I'm going to say about that.
I'm like, do we need to have like a little altar to Mercury to appease him?
What? Because Mercury, of course, is the magician.
Yes.
We're doing it. We're doing a Mercury retrograde altar. We're going to do a virtual one. Oh, see, you are the font of ideas. One thing I just want to say to the world, I have had the opportunity to collaborate with Jenna on a couple of different projects over time, hopefully more in the future. And one of the things I love, I keep pointing over here. You're really over here, which is weird. One of the things I love about Jenna Matlin is she is just this font of really exciting ideas. So yes, we're doing it. We're doing a Mercury altar online and in person, so it shall be.
Thank you. Well, that's kind of you. I'm not a double Gemini for nothing, I'm insane, but I got great ideas. Oh, I love you too, Marcy. It's been too long since I've seen your face. We were talking about, you should listen. We were talking about, I got to hear how you two met, and then I talked about how you came and visited me and how everyone loved you. And I hope all good things are for you. And maybe in 23, we get to meet again. Mercury altar. This is going to be cool. Like a little place, like, please, Mercury, have grace upon your folks. Right. Like, we love you. Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up for us.
Trickster. So I'm excited. Do you have a sense? I'll give a final question and then we'll go. Like, do you have a sense, like right now, of percentage of the people that have tickets that are coming in person versus online? Do you have a sense of that yet?
As it stands right now, in terms of presenters, I would say around 3/4 of the presenters will be in person.
Hey, cool.
Right. And in terms of, like, we'll have more people online than we do in person because we've got limited seating in person. We're not going to pack people in for obvious reasons. So there will be more people online because we have, more room online.
Mhm.
But I can tell you we will have enough people in person where it's not so big that you feel like you're lost in the crowd, but it's enough people that you're definitely going to meet people you didn't know before. And
Exciting.
you're definitely going to feel like you're in a group of people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us as we talk about conferences. Please come to one, whether it's online or in person. If you have some time in January, love to see you. Christiana, thank you so much for really being the vanguard of this new hybrid system and really charging forth of that last year too, when everything else was canceled. We had you that we could rely on. So thank you for that. And thank you. And happy holidays to all of you who celebrate. May we come to 2021. Let the dumpster fire portions of 2021 end and all the beautiful things of 22 to come forth. So thank you all so much. And I will see you at my next live, which will be next year. And happy holidays. And thank you so much, Christiana, for coming. And thank you for all of you who came in live. Bye, guys.